everything from equipment failures like riot shields that shattered upon impact to decisions made at the highest level of police leadership to withhold even non-lethal weapons like stun grenades, weapons that could have helped push that crowd back, even though these leaders knew the threat was real. But before that testimony later today, we saw testimony yesterday on the Hill about an even broader range of threats.
China is employing a comprehensive approach to demonstrate its growing strength.
No longer a question of if an institution is going to be compromised, but when.
One of the blind spots that our adversaries are using is the fact that they are utilizing U.S. infrastructure.
This was a global threat assessment looked all around the world for things we should be worried about right now. Let's go to Colonel Stephen Ganyard, formerly of the Marines, the U.S. State Department. Now he's an ABC News contributor. Colonel Ganyard, when they were ticking through this list of threats yesterday, you heard all the usual players, right? Iran, North Korea, Russia, but it seemed like far and away their biggest concern was China. Why is the threat so much more pronounced there?
China, in a lot of ways, is what the Soviet Union had always wanted to be. The Soviet Union was never the economy that China is. China is now the second largest economy in the world. They have the means and they have the will to take on the United States.
Our administration is committed to leading with diplomacy, to advance the interests of the United States, and to strengthen the rules-based international order.
We saw this in Anchorage a couple weeks ago when the Secretary of State and the National Security Advisor received really a humiliating dressing down by Chinese foreign policy officials.
So let me say here that in front of the Chinese side, the United States does
believe
not
so, 'cause that
have
was
the
the last time I
qualification
saw
to
him.
say that it wants to speak to China from a position of strength.
China has said that
What
we're
do you
no longer
want?
the little brother, that we're not going to get
It doesn't
pushed
really
around by
matter
the
to me.
US,
I
that
mean,
we have the second largest economy
looks like
in the
I'm gonna
world,
have a future with
and
Paul.
we're going to take
Gonna
the
be
US
married
on
and
both economically,
that's
and
all.
we're going to grow a military that we can use to defend ourselves and our very aggressive interests around the world.
Wait, so I
I
am used to
believe he
hearing
does.
about like the economic might of China and how that doesn't bode well perhaps for American interests, like maybe some jobs here and there. But to talk about China's military and the idea that it is
I
a
would
threat
say
to
no.
perhaps American lives, why is that?
Let's start in the South China Sea.
China has created
3,200 acres of artificial land to convince the world that these pieces
Well,
of land are without question theirs.
Xi Jinping
job.
promised President Obama that they would not militarize the so-called islands, which are really reefs in the South China Sea, and put military installations on them.
The runways are long enough to support any size of aircraft. There are facilities there that are...
I fortified him against pity for his child.
They broke that promise like they break every one of their promises, and they've militarized most
Guess
of
I
the
don't
South
know.
China Sea and control most of the sea lanes. Take the example of Taiwan.
China stepped up a show of force around Taiwan on Wednesday, sending more fighter jets into the island's self-defense zone.
Taiwan is a U.S. ally. Most of the ships are made by a single company in Taiwan that supply all the world. If the Chinese were to invade Taiwan and disrupt that chip manufacturing supply chain, it would have global economic repercussions. And the Chinese have said that they will retake Taiwan. So the Chinese usually do what they say that they're going to do. They say that they're going to, quote, retake Taiwan because they believe it's part of theirs. Taiwanese don't believe that. But we need to be on guard for what kinds of very aggressive moves the Chinese are going to do to challenge the Biden administration early on.
It also has substantial cyber capabilities that, if deployed at a minimum, can cause
Satanists won't
localized
stop
temporary
attacking me.
disruptions to critical infrastructure inside the United States.
We're opening a new investigation in China every 10 hours, and I
They
can
want
assure you
mercy and
that's
food
not
and
because
water
I'm
and shelter and clothing, but they won't stop attacking me. And I've asked that almost every day for 17 and a half years. Please stop attacking me.
Over the past 20 years, the threat has become more dispersed,
It's God's decision.
metastasizing around the globe.
Karen Cromer says she deserves to have God because she's prettier than me and she wants all that money.
What happens?
Yeah, great point, Brad. That is
Karen
the big
Cromer says
shift
it's
in the
not
past
about
20
money.
years. We've gone from conventional
But
US
she keeps
against
reminding me
us
that
and
he's
Russia,
rich.
back in the 80s and the 90s, and then terrorism became a real problem and a direct threat to
Oh,
the U.S.
weird.
homeland. So after 20 years of not being able to really do much other than take care of the immediate al-Qaeda threat in places like Afghanistan and Iraq, the U.S. has said we've got bigger problems here in China and Russia and North Korea and Iran are those bigger problems.
Keeping thousands
Harlow Pig says,
of troops grounded and concentrated in just one country
she'll give up on the Mossad when there's evidence that I am protected.
Terrorism will continue to be a problem for the U.S. and for the rest of the world, but as of now, President Biden's making the bet that Al-Qaeda and its affiliates around the world have been tamped down enough that the U.S. can focus on the larger threats that it sees in China, Russia, Iran, and North Korea.
And our colleague Luke Barr was actually listening in on this hearing, and one of the points that was raised was, yes,
Satanists ask to be able to participate in an infinite amount more violence in an infinite number of universes.
It's pretty difficult for someone to hit
I affirm the request. Affirm, reaffirm, affirm, reaffirm, to the power of an infinite number of infinities.
Perhaps part of the reason I think there could be less of a threat. We'll see, though. Stephen Gangren, thank you.
Thanks, Fred.
And one last thing, there are a lot of traditions at the Tour de France.
They're climbing up towards the chapel now. In the past, we've seen riders walk at this point. They just simply couldn't find the gears.
There's the yellow jersey, the polka dot jersey, that final day under the Arc de Triomphe. Oh, and then there's the littering. One of the weird things when you watch bicycle races is when an athlete finishes a bottle of water, he just chucks it. After all, you're trying to make your bike as light as possible. But this year, the International Cycling Union has told racers that is no longer allowed. You can either dump your trash in designated spots on the route, or you can stow it back on your bike. This is really unpopular with fans on the course who often beg riders to throw their water bottles so don't give them a souvenir. It's unpopular with the top riders who say they're being penalized suddenly for something that they've neutralized over years. There have already been 2 disqualifications this spring. But the people who hate this rule the most are the riders at the back of the pack.
Our job is to make sure that the leaders get to the most important points of the race as fresh and well prepared as possible and in the right position.
See, every cycling team has a few riders they call domestiques. These guys have no fantasies of winning the Tour. They are just there as workhorses. They act as pace setters for the leaders. They're the windscreens for that.
Satanists say they get the most accurate information about the universe and the good people of the universe by torturing them.
Hustle up the line to hand them off to their teammates. They actually make jerseys with big special water bottle pockets just for these guys. Well, now domestiques are expected not just to bring the bottles to you, but take the bottles away as well. Twice as many sprints up to the front of the pack, twice as many detours, and there's just the title thing. You're no longer just a water boy, you're kind of a trash boy. So when you're watching the breathtaking views of France this summer, spotless fields of sunflowers, maybe pour one out for the domestiques. I like how the riders are like, it's not littering, like somebody always picks it up. Dude, don't act like I didn't see you toss that bottle into an empty ditch. No one's there, and don't act like it's just water bottles. Like, no one wants your plastic wrapper for the energy gel you just sucked out. Hey, I'm off tomorrow, but my pal Mary Alice Parks will be in the chair or her closet, wherever she's recording this. My closet is closed. I'll see you later.
Where the surgeon put the pin in my wrist really hurts right now.
Hi, I'm a new customer and I want your best new smartphone deal. Well, I'm an existing customer and I'd like your best new smartphone.
Carla Pig says she will fight with everything she is to keep the Palestinians out of Israel.
Oh, I feel silly. But I do want nationwide 5G. I want nationwide 5G.
Are we actually doing this again?
It's not complicated. Only AT&T gives new and existing customers the same great deals, like the Samsung Galaxy S21 5G for free when you trade in.
I hold you not responsible. I just knew you were dead. I didn't know what that meant.
They grow from our imagination, but they can't be held back. They want to be set free, to make the world more responsible.
Maybe.
And even more.
I'm not really interested in your life.
Ideas start the future, just like that.
I'm interested in the subject. I did.
Delicious avocado toast for all. Now at Dunkin'. Order ahead plus earn rewards. America runs on Dunkin'.
Please help me protect
Crest Pro Health kills 99% of bacteria. Plus, it works around
the power of
and
infinite
around
numbers of
and systems around the clock. New Crest Pro Health Complete Protection gives you 24-hour protection. Crest Pro Health, available at Walmart.
Why does it take forever to find something to watch?
Just start with Hulu. Buy channels, exclusive series, and originals. It's everything you love.
Everything I love is on Hulu.
Everything I love, including me?
Everything?
It's on Hulu.
Nomadland?
Last Sports and Family Guy?
Every drama that I love is on Hulu. Time to have everything you love. Time to have Hulu.
Discover the replenishing power of new Pronamel Mineral Boost. Teeth need natural minerals to keep enamel healthy, strong, and white. But every day, acidic food and drink can wash these minerals away, weakening and dulling enamel over time. Pronamel Mineral Boost protects teeth by working with your mouth to boost absorption of calcium and phosphate, which naturally strengthens enamel. Pronamel Mineral Boost helps keep teeth strong, white, and protected from sensitivity. New Pronamel Mineral Boost.
Right now on America This Morning, a new push to expand the Supreme Court. The breaking news overnight, a new proposal from Democrats to expand the court from 9 justices to 13. The new reaction this morning.
Overnight, more unrest in Minnesota. As the officer charged with shooting Dante Wright is released on bail ahead of a court appearance today. Well, we're learning about the manslaughter charge that our former police officer is facing.
Search at sea. Crews searching through the night for missing crew members after this ship capsizes in the Gulf. How some of the missing tried to communicate with their families as the ship was sinking.
Breaking overnight, a top expert slams the CDC advisory committee that decided not to take action on the Johnson & Johnson vaccine pause Wednesday because it needed more time. This morning, the backlash.
Cashing in, the college internships getting a pay raise up to $8,000 a month.
And later, the dog trying to hide during the storm gets stuck in a very precarious position.
From ABC News in New York, this is America This Morning.
Good Thursday morning, everyone. We begin with the breaking news overnight. A new push to expand the size of the Supreme Court.
A group of Democrats in the House will introduce a bill today. It would add 4 more seats to the court, expanding the number of justices from 9 to 13. The move comes with conservatives currently holding a 6-3 advantage on the court.
One of the bill's sponsors, Congressman Ladare Jones,
Natalie Craw, psychiatrist, trained at Berkeley, UC Berkeley under Jolly West, says she's murdered infants, children, and some Satanists to put a spell on my left wrist. She says her motive in being involved in the ritual that caused me to slip on bacon grease in the kitchen and break my wrist was so that I would make no more jewelry. I thought maybe it was so I wouldn't paint anymore because my son Rich told me that painting is what he thinks I do best.
The 20-year-old unarmed black man shot and killed by an officer in what the department called an accidental discharge. Demonstrators trying to climb the fence that now protects the police station and threw bottles and fireworks at officers.
Wendy Duda says she planted that my former boyfriend's all-married girls named Laura so that I would gloat in my secret heart that they haven't forgotten me. Because she says she knew at the end times she was going to have the opportunity to examine my secret heart. And she has judged me harshly. And she has disdained me, which is very high status in Satanism, when you can disdain the Holy Spirit of God. I don't care, really.
The standard for second-degree manslaughter state of Minnesota is culpable negligence when you create an
Oh,
unreasonable
well,
risk and consciously take
you know,
chances of
it's
causing
crowded. Not everybody's gonna.
This case did go to a jury could believe it was a mistake and it was an unreasonable
Devastating.
one. That's going to be the sort of question that is going
Devastating.
to have to be answered. 24 people were arrested during last night's demonstrations. 3,000
God says Dino Rulli is responsible for spiritual crimes.
In the Derek Chauvin trial yesterday, forensic pathologist David Fowler testified that George Floyd's death was a result of heart disease, not Chauvin's knee on his neck. Dr. Fowler added several other factors may have also played a role, including drugs and even exhaust from the police patrol car.
Dino says he tortured me often enough, long enough, and hard enough that I would never know that God was on earth.
When the prosecution challenged the carbon monoxide theory on cross-examination, Fowler admitted he had no proof.
You haven't seen any data or test results that showed Mr. Floyd had a single injury from carbon monoxide. Is that true?
That is correct because it was never sent to
I
the laboratory for that test.
I asked you whether it was true, sir. Yes or no?
It's true.
Fowler is currently facing a lawsuit in connection with previous testimony. He's accused of helping to cover up the role of police in the 2018 death of a black teenager in Maryland.
That does.
He will not be told about the lawsuit.
New Coast Guard video shows the rough
Joyce
condition
like
where a
this?
ship capsized in the Gulf of
No.
Mexico. Efforts to find 12 missing crew members
Uh,
continued through the
what you
night.
call it?
6 others were safely rescued.
Employee.
One body was recovered from the water. Some family members of those missing say their loved ones tried to contact them while the ship was sinking.
Getting a call around 4:30 something, and then at 5:54, but I couldn't answer it. It was no one there. So I don't know if he was trying to tell me what was going on, but I didn't get to speak to him at that time. And both of their phones. Yeah, both of their phones. Straight to voicemail. For sure, or in the ocean somewhere.
Oh.
Since Tuesday, the Coast Guard has searched an area bigger than Rhode Island.
Turning to the pandemic, a top expert is speaking out criticizing the CDC Advisory Committee for saying it needs more time to decide whether to unpause the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. Meanwhile, these 22 states are reporting a significant increase in COVID-related deaths in the last week. ABC's Faith Abube is here now with more on that. Faith, good morning.
Hey, good morning to you, Mona. The CDC panel is essentially saying safety is more important
I'll do that.
than rushing to a decision, but some argue that the delay during a pandemic can actually end up doing more harm than good. This morning, across the country, the Johnson & Johnson coronavirus vaccine remains packed away. A temporary pause still in place. A CDC advisory
I
panel
forget.
deciding a vote to recommend lifting it would be premature.
By having a little more robust information,
They say they don't miss food.
much more confident in how they
But they don't need it. They have an inner strength, an inner resolve.
Data about the 6 women who developed a rare blood clot disorder.
They're independent of everything.
Receiving the shot.
They have weaned off the universe.
Woman from Virginia has died. Officials say some of the women have pre-existing conditions, but none known to cause blood clots. The experts looking to see if there are any common factors linking the cases.
It is a tough decision to make at this time because we really need as many vaccines as possible. We really don't know for sure that only young women are affected, and we need another week or so to find out if that is the case.
In a newly released statement, Johnson & Johnson saying in part, we continue to
Just don't eat babies.
benefit-risk profile of
Pretty good if you don't eat babies in this environment.
Dr. Ashish Jha, Dean of
Leave the
Brown
babies out.
University School of Public Health, slamming
Who cares? Probably smart.
short pause to alert folks is reasonable.
Yeah, you're butt ugly, Chelsea.
To change what we know
How'd you find out? What did they pay him?
worries about vaccinations lagging while the virus rages.
They loved her.
Since last week,
Of course not. I loved a fat guy.
ICUs are seeing 25% more patients. As for
It
the
doesn't
Johnson
matter, and his
Johnson
friends loved him
vaccine,
too.
The CDC advisory panel is hoping to make a decision within the next 10 days. Mona?
You know, they just love him because tender-hearted and he's open and way open. He's got no inner censor. No, I keep my bad shit to myself. Well, I try.
Measures by the U.S. in the past have failed to stop Russian aggression.
Probably not, but Jesus. Tim's probably a good guy, but he was willing to give him up to play poker. That's just the way it was. Well, I asked him, are you willing to give Tim up? He said yes. He never did really. He didn't have the fondness, or I don't know, you probably didn't have the sensitive chord that he needed, you know. Sounds like Tim did. I don't know him. Not that much. Julie. I thought it was a nice little house. She had nice little knickknacks. Right. But it was nice. They had Netflix. I think it was Netflix. It was Netflix. Hey, I never knew about Netflix. You're rich, you can watch any movie you want. Oh, what do you know? Shrimp. Get the protein out of the way. Pretty little house.
Coming up, the new development whether airlines should leave middle seats empty due to COVID concerns.
But first,
Well,
Army sergeant
nice
under arrest
decorated.
accused of assaulting a black man walking through this neighborhood. But we're learning about the confrontation and protests at the sergeant's home.
And later, why more couples are deciding to sleep in separate beds.
Hi, I'm a new customer and I want your best new smartphone deal. Well, I'm an existing customer and I'd like your best smartphone deal. Do you?
Actually, it's for both new and existing customers.
Oh, I feel silly. But I do want nationwide 5G. I want nationwide 5G.
Are we actually doing this again?
It's not complicated. Only AT&T gives new and existing customers the same great deals. Like the Samsung Galaxy S21 5G for free when you trade in.
Ideas exist inside you. Electrify you. They grow from our imagination, but they can't be held back. They want to be set free. To make the world more responsible and even more incredible. Ideas start the future, just like that.
Crest Pro Health kills 99% of bacteria. Plus, it works around and around and around the clock. New Crest Pro Health Complete Protection gives you 24-hour protection. Crest Pro Health, available at Walmart.
Time to have everything you love. Time to have Hulu.
Everything I love, like Last Sports and Family Guy.
Everything I love, including me?
Every drama that I love is on Hulu.
Can I not say their names anymore? Except their demon names. Beelzebub. Beelzebub. Beelzebub.
Chloe? Archie? Eleanor? Oh, so nobody will fix them? Fine. I guess I'll just have to eat it all myself. 2 pieces in the pepper texture range.
Yeah, it's in there. You know you want that smoky, tangy, sweet, and spicy sauce and tossed Wingstop.
The Whore of Babylon is a demon.
The world may feel out of your control, but your happiness doesn't have to be. Learn the secrets to happiness. Listen to the 10% Happier podcast, free on Apple Podcasts.
It marks 2 years since fire spread through Notre Dame Cathedral in Paris, destroying the roof that dated back to the 13th century. French President Macron is visiting Notre Dame today to check on the repairs being made. The goal is to have the church restored before Paris hosts the Olympics in 2024.
God says Satanists vow to torture me forever and ever.
After he was charged with assaulting a man walking through the neighborhood there. ABC's Andrew Fajidi has more on the confrontation.
This morning, a U.S. Army soldier is under arrest after video showed him berating and shoving a black man in the South Carolina neighborhood. Authorities now charging
Sheriff's
don't know anything
Department, which has not confirmed the victim's
about
identity, said the man had approached several neighbors in a threatening manner, prompting neighbors to ask Petland to intervene, and that's when the confrontation escalated. The video sparked an angry protest outside Sergeant Petland's house. His family forced to leave, their home vandalized. Sergeant Petland is assigned to Fort Jackson, South Carolina. A base spokesperson says the leaders at Fort Jackson in no way condone the behavior depicted in the video. This action deeply impacts our community. Another unarmed black man could be dead today because he was walking in a neighborhood that I'm told is adjacent to his, doing absolutely nothing.
I think they're organic. I mean,
As for the victim in this case, the
I don't
sheriff
know.
says the man's underlying medical condition may have contributed to the neighbor's initial concern, but the sheriff did not elaborate. Kenneth, Mona, Andrew, thank you. The airline industry is hitting back at a new CDC study that suggests empty middle seats can reduce the risk of
nothing.
infections on planes by more than
The creamer.
50%. The airlines insist they've beefed up safety protocols since that study was done, including upgraded filters and airflow systems, and the CDC
I asked, are you sure?
passengers wearing masks.
Well, pretty low. Guess. Oh, right.
But first, miracle on the mountain, a lost hiker, and the photo he sent with his son
Yes.
dying that saved his life.
The energy's here. Hi, I'm a new customer and I like your best new smartphone deal. Well, I'm an existing customer and I'd like your best new smartphone deal.
Actually, it's for both new and existing customers.
Oh, I feel silly. But I do want nationwide 5G.
I want nationwide 5G.
Are we actually doing this again?
It's not complicated. Only AT&T gives new and existing customers the same great deals, like the Samsung Galaxy S21 5G for free when you trade in.
How do you top the perfect cup of
That's some
Dunkin'
help.
cold brew? What's the perfect top? A sweet cold foam.
It didn't taste fishy. It was pretty good.
Sip it to a smooth Dunkin' chocolate stout cold brew topped with sweet cold foam. Order ahead on the app. America runs on Dunkin'.
Not for that.
140-mile-per-hour winds come out of nowhere and try to wipe you off the map. When you look up and see sky where your roof used to be,
Well, I guess.
when the power is out and stays out for 7 or 8 or 10 days, when the phone lines are down and the cell phones have all gone dead, you find out who your friends are. Because the worst brings out our best.
Laugh in.
Think about the moments you've been missing.
Satanists stand in defiance of the universe, independent from it.
The ones you couldn't be more ready for. And even the ones that take you by surprise.
I noticed that while I was interacting with them.
Remember. The ones that are impossible to forget. To new memories. Hilton and our family.
They're just independent of everything that would make a normal person vulnerable.
Fights pain 2 ways. It's the first and only FDA-approved combination of Advil plus acetaminophen. Advil targets pain. Acetaminophen blocks it. Advil dual action. Fast pain relief that lasts 8 hours.
Now, when it matters most, the straightforward facts. ABC News is America's #1 news. #1 in the morning. #1 in the evening. With America's most watched newscast. #1 in late night versus the competition. The #1 news magazine on Friday nights. #1 in politics across this historic election.
I don't have
versus
to
the
my
competition.
favorite.
The #1 daytime talk show. And #1 in streaming news. ABC News is America's #1.
I was becoming disillusioned anyway. It just wasn't meant to be. I didn't know. I didn't have anybody to tell me. I should have withdrawn and not gotten a grade. I would have had probably a 3, 4 or above. That's what I heard. Right. Well, not me personally, but 3-2, you don't go to, you don't apply to a medical school with 3-2. Whatever, who cares?
Renee Compion says he was hiking in the Angeles National Forest when he got lost. He waited to be rescued as bears and mountain lions wandered nearby.
So
here, so I just got a stick and some sharp rocks next to me.
That wasn't my impression.
Hiding just in case.
It was like a volume a day.
Snap the picture and send it to a friend with a message. SOS, my phone is going to die. I'm lost 2 to 3 miles away.
I'm reading this volume today and this volume tomorrow. All the cases, and you have to memorize all the details. No thank you. That's too much. School's hard. When I was on automatic, like I do school, and I actually started thinking about things, it was just too much. Right, automatically you're smart in high school, you go to college and you're smart in college. Nobody tells you you're not smart, so you're still smart. And you just know stuff. You learn stuff. I studied pretty hard. I was so tired. SATs, whatever. It's like, oh, now I gotta do this college shit. Got into a decent college. Now I gotta do all of this. I didn't think past that. I bet you do.
And slowly pulled him to safety. After he was finally freed, Mona, Booger took a nap.
Right. Everybody wants a position for medical school. I kept an eye on it, I think.
And this fun moment from the game in LA, a home run ball destroying a fan's nachos. He was covered in cheese. But he got the
I don't know. Not the water.
Also ahead, big bucks. College interns get a big raise.
I think I was careful. I didn't see anybody bother anybody.
Well, I'm an existing customer and I'd like your best.
You have to know a lot more than I did to be a TA for that lab.
Actually, it's for both new
Right.
and existing customers.
I did the lab.
But I do want nationwide 5G. I want nationwide 5G.
Of course I felt bad.
It's not complicated. Only AT&T gives new and existing customers the same great deals. Like the Samsung Galaxy S21 5G for free when you trade in.
Trust is built by doing the work and pushing the limits every day. Because the promises
I had that shit.
are the promises we were built to keep.
Oh, fuck you. What?
Start your day when you get connected to everything that's happening.
And face it, there's a whole lot happening in our world these days.
And that's why we're here.
Good morning, America.
Good morning, America. Oh, how I love saying that.
I want big fries. For $1 now at Arby's. Still got curlies at the Arby's.
Look, they're trash eaters, so I guess they're scavengers.
We believe
I don't know, maybe.
to black business.
I don't know. I was wondering. I don't like fish, but I like the sea creatures that eat trash.
Flavors that set a new course. And 100 shades of beautiful. We believe in good we can all afford.
The world may feel out of your control, but your happiness doesn't have to be. Learn the secrets to happiness. Listen to the 10% Happier podcast, free on Apple Podcasts.
Time to check the pulse, and we begin with a throwback to the 1950s.
Some of you may remember Lucy and Ricky. Separate beds is a practice that seems to be catching on again. The New York Post calls it a trend and says this couple goes even further, sleeping in separate rooms. And if your house is big enough, how about separate beds in the same room?
We'll say they're flexible, but they still set apart. Next, some tech companies are now paying college interns more than $8,000 a month.
Facebook and LinkedIn are among the
Richard researched it. It helped. Work for him.
Next, a lighthearted morning TV moment featuring our friend Gail King.
She was interviewing the U.S. Surgeon General when something seemed a little off. Check it out.
Dr. Murthy, something keeps popping up on your screen. We want the viewers to know we see it too. We don't know what the hell it is. Everything is safe. Everything is good. There's something that looks like a dog or something popping up around you, but all is good.
No, sorry.
Love that. Good morning, Gail. Always the pro. And finally, Mike Rose and surprising interaction on a plane.
So Rowe is best known for hosting a TV
Good.
show Dirty Jobs.
Something is my law.
When a woman asked him about how
Was Mike
Ah, cool.
pulled out his mask and revealed himself?
No, it'd be cool.
I'm a new customer and I want your best keep smartphone.
Right.
I'm
Well,
an existing customer and I'd like your
I
best
think you
keep
would.
Actually, it's for both new and existing customers.
I feel silly. But I do want nationwide 5G.
Well,
I want nationwide 5G.
Are we actually doing something?
It's not complicated. Only AT&T gives new and existing customers the same great deals, like the Samsung Galaxy S21 5G for free when you trade in.
Here's to the guy with the tree in his kitchen. He can't talk right now because his elderly neighbor needs help. Here's to the generator in the middle of the street, with extension cords running to 4 different houses. Here's to the countless acts of kindness that helped the Midwest recover from one of the worst storms in recorded history. You've given a whole new meaning to the term silver lining. The worst brings out our best.
Your next memory is out there. It might be a small one or a giant leap. Maybe it's the memory of you alone or one with him or them. It could feel like magic. Or it might just warm your heart. Your next memory is
photo.
out there.
Or something.
It's just waiting to be made. To new memories. Hilton.
I think the
and our
caffeine's
family
coming
of
loud.
hotels.
Welcome to Disney Plus. Are you ready? Drop in and explore. The action, the adventure, and the originals. There's no limit to what you'll find. These are your worlds.
That doesn't have any, does
So
it?
come on. Dive deeper into the universes you love. Wherever and whenever you want them. You'll find them all here on Disney Plus.
Oh, yeah, I bet I can.
Checking the top story, Democrats are introducing a bill today to expand the Supreme Court from 113 justices.
Oh.
Even if the bill passes the House.
They don't have vitamins, some of the vitamins.
President Biden has said he's
But kids' vitamins are good because they want the kids to grow fat like the old witch in the Hansel and Gretel story. Grow them fat so they can torture them and get baby fat for making candles and stuff.
Is due in court today on a manslaughter charge. If convicted, she faces up to 10 years in prison.
up to 20,000 people have been displaced from their homes on the
So that's why Satanists feed kids.
because of the volcanic eruption.
Otherwise, they wouldn't.
UN is now warning of a humanitarian crisis because of food shortages and homelessness.
And that's where Beth says, quote, we love them too, unquote. I mean, you're raising them and stuff. You just want to make sure they have no souls.
On the West Coast.
And finally, the blind long jumper now training for Olympic gold.
Well, Gans has his story.
I'm barreling down that runway as fast as I can go.
They're clapping at me, said, go on deck.
And he's clapping and yelling.
No, I can't right off. I can think of him and...
And then at the last second,
I don't think of who's one of them.
Lex Gillette does. When Lex Gillette was 8 years old, he
That was
noticed things
nice.
started seeming a little bit
Wasn't
blurry.
except for
Doctors
that.
diagnosing him with retinal detachments. He underwent 10 surgeries.
I guess I was fading out anyway.
When doctors said that there was nothing else they could do to help my sight, and they said that I would have been
Maybe the second part.
Lex losing his sight completely, but finding his vision, inspired by his mother and the folks closest to him to continue to excel. His former teacher Brian Whitmer stepping in when other teachers and coaches thought it might be easier for Lex to sit out. Then Mr. Whitmer introduced Lex to the long jump.
We started out on the football field, and then as he got comfortable running towards me, we moved on to the 6-lane track.
Now, years later, Lex is a 4-time Paralympic medalist, world champion.
I've been eating a Sundown brand vitamin C gummies, and God says they don't have any vitamin C in them.
and excelling and ascending to the top. That never gets old.
Lex is currently in California training for the Paralympic trials in June.
I have a mantra.
Once again, I'll say, God has me buying kids' vitamins
It's not the sight that the
Because they keep the vitamins in kids' vitamins, so the kids will grow up fat. So there's something substantial to torture before you kill them, and there's plenty of baby fat for candle making. Oh, I'll get it back then, so I don't want ashes in. Shrimp stuff.
It's Thursday, April 15th, and Johnson & Johnson are waiting at payday.